people as well. Okay, so going back to the how Scopus can help researchers. So as I mentioned, you can identify the journals to submit their manuscripts, and then keep up to date with the latest development in the field, because we are updating Scopus every day. That means you can actually see what are the articles in your field or in your topic which is added to Scopus, and many other features. Scopus data. We have reached now 4.5 terabyte data stored in the content repository of Scopus, 1.7 billion cited references, and the institution profiles and the author profiles I mentioned to you before. Scopus deliver all the metadata of the bibliographic information of the records, which is coming from the publishers, like the author names, affiliation, document title, EID, DOI, all this information, I think around more than 150 fields within each record. Scopus is used by more than 5,000 universities and institutions worldwide, which is 150 out of them leading research organizations, like, for example, the European Commission, the OECD, in addition to the ranking organizations like Times Higher Education and QS. They are depending on the data in Scopus only. As I mentioned to you, there are some slides which we will actually go quickly, and some slides we will spend more time. How do you can access the data in Scopus? The first way is via the graphical user interface, or the scopus.com, as normally you are doing that. You type www.scopus.com, or you access Scopus through your library. And then you will be able to search and download records, download publications, save searches, and so on, from the many things you can do from the user interface, or the graphical user interface. The second way, which is also important, maybe not many people knows about it, the Scopus API, which allow you actually to connect to Scopus from another system and get the same, almost the same search results, or same services which you're getting from the graphical interface. You can do this through the APIs, and it's part of your subscription. Just contact us and I will connect you to the API team, and then you can actually get your API key and start using the APIs. The third way is the custom data. This is slightly different. If you have a project and you require a special data, then you contact us, and then we can provide you with this custom data. The global representation of Scopus, as you can see, the different numbers in different regions. In our region, we have more than 860 titles, 236 more than our nearest database. That's in our region, Middle East and Africa, and you can see the other regions as well. The Scopus coverage up to July this year, we have reached 79.5 million records, and in September we are going to reach 80 million records. And as I mentioned before, this is from 24,000 journals. I would appreciate that we will keep the questions till the end. We have more than 100,000 conferences and 229 standalone books, as mentioned before, from 5,000 publishers. There are around 10,000 articles per day indexed or added to Scopus. We are covering 40 different languages, including Arabic. So you will find journals in Scopus which accept Arabic articles. We have around now 18 journals. I hope all the universities and your institutions as well add your journals which is accept Arabic, so we can enrich the content in Arabic in Scopus. That will be useful for our region, of course. Also, we do have almost 6,000 and 5,859 gold open access journals in Scopus. So that means you will find the full text of these articles in Scopus as well. These are the different types of content: the journals, conferences, books, and patents. In Scopus, in journals, we are covering all the different subject areas, as you can see on the left side. And the citations right now is going back to 1970. So the senior researchers who started to publish from 1970, we have their citations, and the H-index has, of course, updated when we finish that project. The conferences is mainly focusing on engineering and computer sciences, and we are actually index or adding the conferences, which is full text conferences. The books are focusing on social sciences and arts and humanities. And that's the difference between books and journals. For example, we also cover only English language books. In terms of the historical depth, we have records going back to 1788. So we have publications in the database starting from 1788. The references, as mentioned before, or the citations going back to 1970. Okay, this is one of the important slides. We are discussing here one of the examples for the criteria of the evaluation and re-evaluation process. So on the left side of the screen, that is an example of one of the years that we had in stage 1, 3,500 titles suggested to be added in Scopus. And we have 2 levels of criteria. We will discuss them in couple of slides. First level has to be checked by the publisher or the institution, and then the second level is by our committee, the Content Selection and Advisory Board, which they check these titles. So out of 3,500, we had 39% of the titles were met the minimum criteria or the first level of criteria, and out of this 39%, we had 46% of these titles were accepted by the Content Selection and Advisory Board. And that's for the first time in the journal, when the journal to be accepted in Scopus. Later, or every year, we are checking all the titles in Scopus by 3 methods. Number 1, we look at the matrix. And if the see the matrix has value has reduced for this journal, then it goes to the Content Selection Advisory Board to review it. The feedback from the researchers like you. So if you realized any strange behavior on a journal, then you inform us, and then it goes to the Content Selection Advisory Board to check it. And third thing, we have a software which is checking if again the behavior of the journal has changed. So for example, number of articles per issue has increased a lot, number of citations increased a lot, then again it goes to the revision. So again, that's one example. For 1 year, we had 263 journals to be reviewed. We found 128 of them, 49%, still meeting the Scopus criteria. So we kept them in Scopus, and 135, 51% no longer meet Scopus criteria. So we had to discontinue them. And be careful, because some of the ranking organizations, like for example, Times Higher Education, they don't take into consideration the discontinued journals, even if the article has been published in the previous issues when the journal was active in Scopus. So that's the re-evaluation process I was talking about. It starts with monitoring, and then we identify title based on publication concerns, which is coming from you as researchers, the performance by metrics, and the software, which is in the database. And then it is flagged, and it goes back to the Content Selection and Advisory Board, which they decide if the journal to be discontinued or to continue in Scopus. And we have a list on our website for the discontinued journals. So we make the criteria available on our website, the list of discontinued on our our website, to make it very transparent process. So how did we reach that 24,000 journals? According to Orlich Serials guide, there are 104,586 active journals available, which is 47,515 are peer-reviewed journals. We are focusing, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the definition of Scopus, we are focusing on the peer-reviewed journals. So this is the number of all the peer-reviewed journals available. So in Scopus, after it goes after the title suggested to Scopus, of course, and goes to the Content Selection Advisory Board, we have 24,600 journals. What is the criteria? This is an important question for two different categories of researchers. Some of them who want to make sure that the journals in Scopus are high quality, and also the universities and institution would like to add their journals into Scopus. So you need to know there are two levels of criteria, as mentioned earlier. The first level is to be reviewed by the institution. So the journal has to be a peer-reviewed journal. The abstracts of the articles need to be in English, even if the article, let's say in Arabic or French, then still you need to have English abstract. The publication has to be a regular publication, so it is published on a regular basis, and the references has to be written in a Roman script. That's for the languages which is not Latin languages, like for example Arabic. And then the journal should have a publication ethics statement. We have in our, there's no specific wording, but we have on our website different examples. The second level, which is reviewed by the Content Selection Advisory Board, we check the journal policy, make sure that the journal is published for 2 years before submitting to Scopus, because the Content Selection Advisory Board, they are checking the quality of the title, sorry. And also they're checking, as I mentioned, the quality of the content, journal standing. So they look at the citations, for example, how many citations this journal is getting, how recent the citations. There is no delay in publication schedule. So for example, if a publication is quarterly, but it is delayed a lot, then this is one of the negative things in the journal. And the journal should be available online. So it should have an English language journal homepage. Again, if you have a journal in Arabic, you can have Arabic homepage, but still you need to have English language homepage. And that's actually gives the journal more visibility, and the abstract also is very important for more visibility for the articles, which leads to more citations for the journal. Okay, this is an important part, which is the research metrics. This to help the researchers to select the journals in Scopus, the high quality journals to read, and also which journals depends on the level of the researchers. Of course, we have the early career researchers and we have the senior researchers. So it depends on the level. You can select journals in Scopus to submit your article according to the different quartiles. And again, we will see this when we go to the interface. So we have 3 metrics on the journals level. We have the site score. Site score is actually a score, an Elsevier metric, and it measures the citations in 4 years for the publication of the same journal in 4 years. And it is comprehensive because it has a basket of metrics. It's not only one metric. I'll mention that when we go to the interface. And also it is transparent because you can calculate it yourself, and very simple and easy. but it's not normalized. It's not subject normalized, as we will see with SNP and SGR. So usually use it within your field, within one subject. Don't use it to compare between the journals in, let's say, medicine and in social sciences. Those are two different fields with two different behavior of citation, similar to impact factor. Again, it's not a subject normalized. We do have also SNP, the source normalized impact per paper. This is developed by University of Leiden in Netherlands, and actually it measured the citations in in 1 year in the published articles of the journal in the past 3 years. This is SNP, and it's so subject normalized. You can use it to look at the journals in the same field and also in different fields. The third one is SGR, Cimego Journal Ranking. That's developed by the Cimego in Spain. It's called a prestige metric. It also measures the citation in the last year for the publication published in the previous 3 years, and also it gives a weight to the citation which is coming from a prestigious journal. That's why they call it the prestige metric. So for example, in let's say in Kuwait University, you have your own journal and you got a citation from Lancet and you got a citation from a journal called Wa'il Mansour, then SGR will give a higher weight to the citation which is coming from Lancet or Cell, more than the one which is coming from a journal called Wa'il Mansour. Why we do have 3 metrics on the journal level? Because the expert in matrix, they are always advising to use more than one metric to decide on a journal. Don't use only one metric, use more than one. So use 2, or maybe you can use 3 as well. Another level of matrix, which is on the article level, that is from the PlumX. And PlumX is one of the alternative matrix. It's not a traditional matrix like the previous slide we talked about. So the PlumX matrix is measuring the usage. So it's captured the footprint of the article in different databases and different places. Like for example, social media. So it measures how many times this article was tweeted, how many times were shared on Facebook, how many times were liked, and so on. And the citations, of course, from different databases. And you can see on the right side of the screen, here is the matrix for one article of PlumX in Scopus. These are actually the information I wanted to share with you from the slides. We will go to the interface right now. Maybe we can stop quickly and look at the questions. Okay. I hope that the sound problem has been solved for most of the people. There's a question about the recording. Yes, I can share the recording with you. Sure. I cannot hear. I hope the problem, Dr. Muhammad Hassan, I hope the problem of the audio has been solved.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Great, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How to change the name? I mean, my name on. Oh, okay. I thought this is related to the authors. Okay, I guess there are no Yeah, we have one question, which is if a journal is discontinued, what will happen with the already indexed article? They will be kept. Yes, they will be kept in Scopus. So for example, let's say the journal has been stopped in December 2019. All the articles before that or all the issues of this journal will be kept in Scopus, but no more. Starting from January 2020, we will not add any new issues into Scopus. But as I mentioned, that's from Scopus side. But as I mentioned, some ranking organizations, like for example, Times Higher Education, they don't take into consideration any articles from a journal which is discontinued. This is just for your information. Okay, that's an important question. Some conferences say they are indexed in Scopus. How do we make sure that they are indexed? I'll show you actually a list which you can download to see all the conferences in Scopus to make sure it is indexed. Okay, I think that's for now. Let's start going to the interface. I know you may be a mixed group of users, so maybe some people are already familiar with Scopus, but maybe some are not. So I'm going to start from the beginning. In Scopus, there are three main important areas in the interface. Number one is the search. And of course, we have different types of searches. The document search, if you're searching for documents, then go to document search. If you're searching for author, this is the one. If you're searching for an affiliation, you go to affiliation search. Although some people may ask that in documents, you do have an affiliation field here, affiliation name, affiliation city. This is if you're looking for documents for a certain affiliation name format. Let's say, again, give an example by Kuwait University. So if you're looking for all the documents related to Kuwait University as the full name, then go to documents and search for it. But if you are doing that search from affiliation, it will bring to you Kuwait University and all other alternative names, because there are some researchers who published articles with KU, for example, or Kuwait Univ, or maybe Kuwait University without space. There are other formats for the affiliation name, and we add it in Scopus. This is covered under the affiliation search, but not on the document search. We actually, on purpose, we made it different. So if you're looking only for one name on one format, then you go to documents. If you're looking for all the name formats, then you go to affiliation. And it's the same for the authors. So this is the first important area. The second area is the sources. Here you have all the sources of the journals, books, conferences, and so on in Scopus, which you can search and make sure that the journal is not stopped. It is continue and not discontinued, because similar to the question of the conference or the conferences, there are journals which they put on their website, they are indexed in Scopus and they are not in Scopus at all, or maybe they used to be in Scopus and they have discontinued. The third area is compare sources, which allow you to compare between different journals, let's say, to decide which one to read, or to decide which one to submit your manuscript with an evidence. So you're going to use the matrix for that. Of course, in addition to the help and contact us help, you will find a lot of resources within Scopus, text and sometimes videos. For example, how to edit my author name. Then there's a video for that here. How can I add missing citations and so on. These are help here. And to contact us, you can email Scopus support from here, and actually also for access and use, even there's a phone number. If you're still not able to get an answer, of course you should contact us. Okay, so let's start with the search documents. So for example, I'm gonna search for artificial intelligence. In the article title, abstract, and keyword, you can, of course, select different field. You can add additional fields and use the Boolean operators. If you would like to search for if you would like to search for the term as it is without spaces, then use the quotations. Because if you don't use the quotations, it will search for artificial and intelligence, okay? Then I'm going to click the search. Before clicking, I'll show you also that we have here the filters, which can help you to filter the search results before doing the search. There are other filters we will talk about. But for example, if you are looking at your field, what has been added latest in the last 7 days or the last 2 weeks, for example, you can activate that filter. Also, you can filter by document type. So I'm looking for articles only and so on. Access type, I'm looking for open access journals. So you can set up your filters before you start. I'm going to reset the filters now. Okay, artificial intelligence and search. Okay, we got, of course, a lot of big number of documents because it was a very general search. I didn't use the quotations, so it used and between both terms. We have a list of these documents, and they are sorted by, right now they are sorted by the highest cited articles. So you can sort them, for example, by the newest. As you can see here, we have 2021 means it is available online, but it's not published. It's going to be published or printed in 2021. Going back to the highest citations. So you can see here in the short list, you can see the document title, authors, year of publishing, the source, and we call it source because it could be a journal or a conference or a book, and number of citations. So for example, let's have a look on the first item. And you can see the type of the item here. It's a review. And this is the bibliographic information of that issue in journal, which is Nature. You can see here is the authors and the abstract, and then civil topic prominence. This is something new we have added to Scopus, which is the topic of the hot topic of this article. And when we say 99 percentile, means this article in the top 1%, this topic, sorry, is in the top 1%. So it's having a very high momentum worldwide right now. So if this, when you're looking at an article like this in your field, so you know that this topic is actually having a very high momentum. And then you can see the different types of keywords. Also, you can see the funding details of this review, and then start to see the references of this review. On the right side, there are very important information as well. There are the matrix on the level of the article. We have the number of citations. And again, we have put a percentile for it because we wanted to normalize the citation, because just a number of citation does not mean a lot. As I mentioned before, an article in medicine could have a lot of citation, but still it's not a good quality, while in social sciences could have a less number of citations, but it's high quality. So here it is in the top 1%, 99 percentile. It's in the top 1%. We also have the field weighted citation impact, which is a metric can be used to compare between different two entities, and it is normalizing for the subject, the type of the document, and the age of the document. So when it compares article to article or review to review, and it compares the same publishing year, and it also the same subject. And the world average is 1 for the field weighted citation impact. So this is a very high quality review. And then we have the Plum X. Actually, it is not used here. And then here, these are the cited documents. So it is cited by this number. And then also we can see a related research data. So Scopus is linking the research data. There are some articles in different fields which have a research data linked to that. So we are linking also the research data if you would like to have a look on. And then related documents. So you have a related document. So Scopus also is suggesting to you a related documents to this article. If you would like to further read, or if you're doing a research or doing a literature review or so, there are more articles for you here. Let's go back to the list of search. So this is the list we have. We can do analysis for this search. We can actually export. If I've done a very sophisticated search and I would like to export this information, I can export all, or I can export, let's say, one page, the first page. And then here, when I click on export, I can select the options which I would like to export to. So I can export it to Mendeley, the reference manager, RefWorks. I can export it to Cyval, EndNote, or I can do it to Excel, for example, and I can select which fields to be exported. Let's say I would like only the citation information and maybe bibliographic information. That's it. I don't want the rest. So I select which fields and then click on export. That's in terms of exporting the data. I can view the citation overview. So we have selected the first page. So this is the citation overview. We can see that in 2019 we had the highest number of citations, and this the document and number of citations. I'll remove the selection and go to analyze search results. Let's see what are the different options we have here. So you can do the analysis by document by year, and you can see here it started actually to peak into this area, artificial intelligence, in 1989, and in 2018 or 2019 we had the largest number of documents. We can actually look at by source. Again, source means conference or journal or a book. And you can do by author. So that's actually a good chance for looking at the top authors into this field. And if there's a chance to collaborate with or use them as reviewers and so on. So you can see the first author has 378 documents in Scopus, the second one 185 into this field. And we can look by affiliation. So the Chinese Academy of Sciences, they have the largest number of articles within this list of documents in the search. Carnegie Mellon University, the second one, and so on. Also, we can do by document type, by subject area, and by sponsor. So the funding sponsor here, the Natural Science Foundation of China is having the largest number of documents, and the second one is National Science Foundation, and so on, which you can see here. And you can change, by the way, the range of analysis we are looking at here. This is in terms of the search analysis. Let me go back to the search. So that the first type, which is document search. I'll go to quickly affiliation search. And for example, let's search for Kuwait University. So here is. And then when you look at your affiliation, I know that we have different institutions on this session, but I'm just giving an example of University of Kuwait. You have documents, the whole institution, by the way, just be careful or know this. The whole institution means if you have a child entity below the University of Kuwait, all the documents will appear here. While here we are saying documents affiliation only. This is only for Kuwait University. That means there is a center or there is an institution below Kuwait University belong to Kuwait University as well here. And this is the total number of authors. And then you can see documents by subjects. Medicine is the highest, and number 2 is engineering, for example, and then computer science. You can look at collaborating affiliations, whom you are collaborating with, and documents by source. So I think this is a journal. You have 604 documents into this journal, 109 estimated patents for Kuwait University. If you click on the document number, it will take you to the list of the documents, of course. And then we have the list of authors, number of authors. If you click on the number of authors, it will take us to number of authors. So this is the list of authors, a name, documents, H index, and so on. And be aware that this number, 493, does not mean that Dr. Harry has all these documents related to Kuwait University. No, this is all his publications in Scopus. So it could include one article in Kuwait with Kuwait University, or it could have 400 articles with Kuwait University. So this is the number of documents. If we take an example again for Dr. Harry, not sure if he with us on the session. You can see the author ID. This is the affiliation. This is the profile ID of the author. This is very important. And then you can see the different name formats of the author and the subject areas for the author. Number of documents, total number of citations, H index. And you can see a graph of the documents and the citations. The citations are in red and the documents are in blue. You can see also the H index graph. So that's the H index graph. 66 is because he has at least 66 documents, has 66 citations. So that's why how this number has come. And also you'll see the list of the documents for Dr. Harry here. Important point for all of you as researchers, and it was of course important point on the agenda today, is to edit your author profile. It's very important to look at your author profile from time to time and make sure that it is correct, because how are these articles are grouped under the name of the author? It is by an algorithm in the database. And the accuracy for that was about 96% because it's a software. And there are some names actually it's very difficult to differentiate between. So sometimes you will find maybe another affiliation for your name. So you need to check your profile from time to time and merge these names if it is your profile. And when you request for a merge, it will go to the support, and the support will check. There are many points they check. They check the subject, they check the university, they check many things before they accept the request. So for you start with view potential author matches, and you get a list of authors which could match your name. But of course, if we have a name like John Smith, you will have thousands of John Smith. But again, you need to, as an author, you of course you can look at the last title, for example, of this author. And if you see this is your name, you just select it. Of course, I'm not going to do the request. And you can click on request to merge with author. So you can, in this case, you can merge the different formats of the name. I'll just close it, of course, not going to merge anything. That is one step, very important if you have if you found you have multiple profiles in Scopus. Also, you have edit author profile. With edit author profile, you can set your preferred name. As you have seen here, there are different names, or there are different formats of the names. So you can select which one to have. You can merge profiles. You can add and remove documents. You can update affiliation, which is, you can see here, it is updated in case of Dr. Hari, University of Kuwait. That's correct. But sometimes if you're moving from university to another, and you publish, let's say, one article with Kuwait University, it should move automatically. But maybe your first article you publishes with Kuwait University and James Huff Consulting, for example. Then Scopus will not see there is a change because it still see the previous name. This is you can do by edit author profile. Okay. So that is actually the searches in a quick way. Of course, we did not cover everything, but this is how to search by documents, affiliation, and also you can do the same for authors. Let me move to an important area, which is sources. If I click on sources, then I have a list of all the sources available in Scopus. Mainly here is the journals. And you can see the journal name, the site score number, the highest percentile of the journal into the subtopic, number of citations, number of documents, percentage of cited. So 94% of the article of the first journal are cited. And then also you have SNP number and SGR. As you remember, I mentioned use more than one metric to judge a journal. Don't use only one. On the left side, we have filters. So you can actually filter by quartile. Let's say, as I mentioned in the beginning, that you are a senior researcher and you publish in the first quartile journals or the first top 10%, you can select that and then apply, and you're applying the filter, of course, after you do a subject search, and then look at these journals and submit your article. Or it's the same, if you would like to read the top journals in your field, then select the first quartile or the top 10% and then look at your article. You can filter also by the type. So you look at journals or big book series or conference proceedings and so on. And in the beginning, of course, you can search by title or subject area, publisher, ISSN. Of course, if you're filtering by quartile, you will do a subjects first, subject search first. And so, for example, if we continue on the same example of artificial intelligence, it's a subtopic from computer science. If you click on apply, Then I have 237 titles in artificial intelligence. Okay, I would like to look at the top of them, top 10%. I'll select that and apply the filter. So there are 49 titles which I can look at. Okay, so let me clear filters and go back to the search. There are very important information when you open the journal. So if I click on the journal name, I see the journal name, the Scopus coverage from 1950 to present. And then that's an example also for the library subscription. It's possible to have a connection like that. And the publisher, ISSN, subject area, and you can actually go to all the documents of this journal from here. You can set an alert, like you can set an alert for the searches and for the authors, for citation. Also, you can set an alert for documents. So any new articles added to Scopus related to this journal, you will get an email from Scopus. You also can go to journal homepage from here. If you would like to read about the editor policy or so on, then you can go to the journal homepage. On the right side, you can see the different matrix, site score, SGR, and SNP. And as I mentioned to you in the beginning when we were in the PowerPoint, that site score is a basket of metric. So there are different different types of site score. So this is the main site score, which is it changes annually. So the latest number is 2019. This is similar to the impact factor. And you can see here, this is the number of citations from 2016 to 2019 divided by the number of documents in the same period. We have site score tracker. That is actually a monthly tracker to the journal to see if the journal is going up or going down. You don't have to wait for 1 year for that. So you can see here, the latest update was on 9th of August, and it is updated monthly, as I mentioned to you. Also, we have the site score rank. That is gives you the rank of this journal into different subtopics. So in the first topic, it's number 1 from 331 journals, and in the second subtopic, it's also number 1 from 123 subtopic. You can see the methodology of site score to see it in details if you would like, and site score FAQ or the important information. So this is the source details. You can search for the conferences here. Also, you can download, if you click here, download. Of course, you need to log in to Scopus first. You can download the Scopus source list. There are 2 lists. The first one will be more important to the research office and the library. The second one is for the researchers, which is the sources titles only. Let us have a look on it. It's a big file which has all the sources in Scopus, around 12 to 16 megabyte. Yeah, it's become bigger. Okay, 24. In this file, actually, you can look at, so on the left side here, you can see the journal or the source title here. You can see the ISSN. Yeah, this is important. Active and inactive. So you can see also the journals active and inactive. But of course, be aware this file is updated 3 times a year. The coverage, the language. So for example, if you would like to look at only Arabic or the journals which accept Arabic titles, then you click on Arabic, and then you can see the list of the journals on the left side. Also, you can see the site score in different years. And what I wanted to show you, yes, here is the main subjects, which you can actually sort also by your topic. Let's say in chemical engineering, you can filter by chemical engineering and look at the journals or the sources which is related to chemical engineering only, and keep the file, save it. The other thing which is I wanted to show you this file because here is all the proceedings, all the conferences in Scopus. If you would like to know if the conference has been is indexed in Scopus or not. That is the importance of this file. Let's go back to Scopus. So that was actually the second area. I will go to the third area quickly, and then we move to the questions. The third area is compare sources, which allow you to compare between different journals or different sources. So you can decide to which one to send your article or which one to read. You can actually search and add up to 10 titles in the same time to compare. So for example, I'll just put here a keyword for the sake of the time, cell, and it will search in the source title for cell anywhere and in all the subject areas. And then let's select maybe 3 titles. Let's say these are the titles which you would like to compare between. And on the right side, then you can compare between the different journals by using site score. And you can see here, Aging Cell is the highest journal. You can do that by SGR. And actually, it's giving you the same decision that Aging Cell is the highest journal. You can look at SNP. You can look by citation per year, documents per year. And another interesting thing, which is the percentage of the articles which is not cited per year. You can see here, this journal has more articles which is not cited. So by this way, you can compare between the journals to decide on which one to send your article or to read. So that is actually what I wanted to cover today. Let us go to the questions. There was more than one question about the session to be in Arabic. I can arrange actually with Mr. Amal and Vertus to arrange for another session which can be fully in Arabic. احنا ممكن نرتب سيشن تانية باللغة العربية فقط. ممكن نرتبها مع فيرتس، ويعني في الحقيقة بقى سعيد ان احنا نعمل سيشن بالعربي فقط. Then let's look at I hope that I was able to answer the question of the discontinued journals. How long Scopus to begin with? Do we use? Okay, regarding the login to Scopus, of course, you have an access to your institution that could be on-site or off-site by using maybe proxy or VPN and so on. And then you can create your own username and password if you would like, if you don't have a single sign-on from your institution, but you can create your own username and password. Is there a way to search for high trending subject in a field? Yes, if you look at the topic of prominence for the article, you can see the topics which is the percentile of that topic of the article, and you can see how it is trending. That would be for the next time. How to find the right journal to publish in? I think we have answered that. Can we filter by rating of journal, like only 4 or 3 stars? We don't have, I think that is the Australian ranking way, 3 or 4 stars. We have the quartiles, quartile 1, 2, 3, 4, according to site score, as I showed you. And you can do that, of course. IEEE provide this option. Okay. Yeah, I think we gave that example. Can we access Scopus from home? Yes, of course. Contact your library and then you would be able to access it from home, of course, because usually the library provide proxy or they provide federated search or a VPN to allow you to access it from home. Yes. There's a question in Arabic about if you can provide us with journals about education. I showed you the way how to search for any subject in sources, and then you will be able to reach that. Is it possible to know how to publish scientific research on scopus.com? You don't publish in Scopus. You select a journal within Scopus and then you publish in this journal. So you contact the journal to send your article. What are the steps followed for publication and accreditation? I don't get that question. If you can actually please elaborate more. Again regarding Arabic بخصوص اللغة العربية ممكن نعمل سيشن تانية باللغة العربية. I had once set the filters, for example, money laundering and banks, but the results sometimes are not tied to the criteria. Do you have a technique? The technique what we have shown you, I mean, you can use the Boolean operators, you can use the different fields, and you can use the filters. How can we determine if some matrix number is good or not for SGR and SNP, for example? That's a very good question. Actually, the numbers there is no benchmark for the matrix, but after looking at different journals, you can compare between them, and you will know the numbers in different between the fields. Of course, for SGR and SNP, there's no difference between the fields. You can use it for any type. Site score will be affected by the field. So for example, you will find the journal, site score number in medicine very high compared to social sciences. It's similar to impact factor. Completely tell. I don't get that question, sorry. Thank you. Yes, question about certificate. Yes, there is. And actually, I'm going to send you right now a link which you can access. Please fill the survey. This is to, okay. Please access this link and use this code to download your certificate for the session today. Scopus is okay. Yes, there's of course there are two ways of downloading the full indexed document. Number one, of course, we have, as I mentioned, almost 6,000 journals open access. That means you directly have a full text of it. The rest, if you have a subscription to that in your library, then automatically your library will connect you. I suggest that you contact the library for the same. That's a very important question about from Dr. Batul. If sometimes it shows that it is still 2019 and sometimes still present. This area is let me go back to Scopus. So let's open the first one. This area is updated 3 times a year. Here from 1950 till present. When we did the update, there was actually issues in 2020, so that's why it is called present. Sometimes you find it till 19, although it's not discontinued, because when we updated this, there is no issues published yet in 2020, so it says 2019. So that's why I actually want you to come down to Scopus content coverage. This is very important. If you would like to know the full coverage, Scopus content coverage. And then you can see here in 2020, there are 36 documents. That means the journal is continued, even if you see here till 2019. Because after the update of this area, there are issues has been added to Scopus. And in the next update, this will come back to present. Let's see if I can actually find another one with 2019. Okay, I don't have an example now, but sometimes you see here instead of present 2019, the reason could be it is discontinued, or it could have not yet have issues when we updated this area. So you come down to Scopus content coverage and see if there are issues in 2020. Okay, I think we are over time already. I hope you will be able to access that link and do the survey and download your certificate. The recording, I will find a way to send it to you. Maybe I'll send it through Vertis, or if you register by email, I'll try to send you the link. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that you have attended while you're having, of course, a very busy schedule, and we can agree on another session in Arabic, or another session also English. I have sent a link in the chat for you. So let me put it on the screen. Well, it'll be difficult for the link to, let me actually copy it and put it again. This is the link, and this is the workshop code. I hope you just copy it and paste it right now. And again, thank you very much for your time, and sorry for taking more time. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.